Did you know there very likely are unseen dangers lurking in your home? In fact, the air inside your home may be more harmful than the pollution outside. My guest today is Therese Fortin-Barnes, a passionate, healthy home advocate and the visionary behind the Green Living Gurus, LLC, and Tees Organics. T has dedicated her career to enlightening others about the benefits of a low-tox lifestyle with a special focus on cancer prevention. In today's podcast, we will explore the common yet overlooked sources of indoor pollution, from the chemicals in our cleaning supplies to the carcinogens that could be lurking in personal care products. With T's expertise, we'll also provide actionable insights on how you can reduce your exposure to these toxins and safeguard your health. I'm George Siegel, and this is Homeowners Be Aware, the podcast that teaches you everything you need to know about being a homeowner. T, thank you so much for joining me today.
You are welcome. Happy to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you. I mean, we've been going back and forth with different scheduling things, and I think I got lost in cyberspace with you, and then I had to reschedule you with me. But thank you for sticking with it and making this work out.
Oh, you're welcome. Happy to be here.
Now, the subject we're going to talk about is so important, and I bet a lot of people don't even initially think about it because we're always worried, oh, there's too much pollution in my community. Oh, the water's bad out there. There's bad things in the air. But we don't turn that around and go, what is the air like inside our homes? And that's really important. What should we be thinking about there?
So very important. And people don't realize it because you think the air in your home is cleaner than the outdoor air. And actually, the EPA has put standards out there and said that the air in our home is anywhere from 2, and it can go up to 100 times more polluted than the outdoor air. So our indoor air quality is not that great unless you're doing some things that I'll teach you here a little bit today that can help with your indoor air quality. I personally have indoor air quality monitors. I take them to clients' homes. I see what's in them. And once people understand what they're breathing in their home and how they're ingesting these fumes, you start realizing you've got to pay attention to the air in your home. You're living in your home, sleeping, breathing in it, and it's something that you really want to pay attention to. So that's where we'll start. And there's so many different ways that your indoor air quality can be hurting, let's just say, your health and affecting your health. And so many homes these days are made that they are, everything's about making sure no air gets in, right? The windows, the doors, whatever. And that's not great in a home where you want air to circulate. I actually spoke to a man here in Buffalo where I live, and he said he does some of these home inspections, and he can just tell that and it was crazy how he said this, but some of them are like coffins. He said, I don't even know how they're living in them because they must be tired all the time because there's no air circulating in these homes.
Now, we're talking about different than walking in and smelling that they had bacon for breakfast. We're talking about things that aren't necessarily the obvious smell. What's the source of all these issues we're talking about?
So a lot of your cleaning supplies. That's probably number one on my list where I get people to start looking at what are those ingredients that you're spraying in your home, using on the surfaces, cleaning with. The word fragrance on cleaning supplies is a big, huge no-no. The chemicals that you are spraying in your home. So many people want these fragrances in their home. Those are some of the worst culprits of bringing in toxic air into your home, and polluting it is really how I look at it. You're not cleaning your house. You're more or less putting dangerous chemicals in your home.
So it's naive to assume that $5 filter or $9 filter or even the more expensive filter that we think we're buying. I've actually heard those are the worst thing because then no air is circulating through if it blocks everything. So it's more than just slapping a filter on your system, isn't it?
Filters, I mean, if you're talking about a forced air filter, is it right for your furnace and everything? Mm-hmm. Those are important because you are filtering out, something, but it's really what you're putting in your home. And so that your cleaning supplies are one other huge area that I get people to change immediately is your laundry detergent. people, you're sleeping in it, you're living in it pretty much. If you're breathing in any kind of, any from your clothes you're wearing all day, and you're polluting it with your dryer and the outdoor air for that matter too. But the laundry detergents can be very harmful, toxic to the air that you're breathing in your home. The fragrances, the outgassing. So some laundry detergent is fragrance free. That's a good step in the right direction. But fragrance is probably the number one thing I try to get everybody with. If you want a cleaner, greener, healthier air in your home, stop using anything with the word fragrance on it. Fragrance is a law from the 1940s when Chanel number five went to the government and said they didn't want to tell anybody the trade secret, what the ingredients were in their perfume. 1940s, this law still exists. Perfume, fragrance industry is massive, tied in with all the chemical companies as well. And it's made with a whole list of potentially harmful chemicals that you think your laundry detergent is lavender scented. It's not lavender scented. It's chemicals to make it sort of smell like lavender or ocean breeze or lemon scented or lime scented, whatever they tell you. Those are all chemicals. And they have been starting to find benzene in some of these fragrances, which is a known carcinogen. So that's just one area that you can make the greatest impact on eliminating anything with the word fragrance or perfume in it. Perfume is another prime example too. If anybody's wearing perfume, you are putting chemicals on your skin and that you're breathing in all day. So in the air in your house, it's circulating, and candles is another one. Burning a candle.
So the scented candles aren't a good thing?
Horrible, absolutely horrible, in addition to a wick that potentially is lead. And now you're heating the chemicals, which is even worse. Your sink, you're sitting over your sink with I think Dove, I don't know what people use that is green and blue and it's scented, and you're cleaning your dishes with these soaps that are fragranced with chemicals. You're breathing them in with hot water going into your lungs. So these are just some of the areas that you can start making little changes that would really, really clean the air up in your house.
What about those scented sticks that you buy in those like holistic places where there's sage and different things and they
burning them?
Yeah.
Yeah, the ones you put up and they kind of like, I can't think what they're called, but
they're like sparklers, but they're not.
Yes,
I mean, they don't
exactly. Yeah. They are not, some of them are scented with chemicals. It all depends, I know you have to be so careful. So many of these, I hate to say it, come over from China too. We have no idea what's in them. No idea what they're made of. And they're allowed to sell them on the market. Specifically our laundry soap and our detergents and our cleaning supplies, they do not have to list all the ingredients like they do on other products that we buy. So these are just areas that you really want to pay attention to reduce those chemicals that are floating around in your house that you can't really smell, but they're there. The VOCs, what they emit into your air is not good for your lungs, and it's not good for your overall health.
Yeah, there's a really good documentary that I saw about perfumes in things, and I forget the name, but it was this dad who was ordering pajamas for his daughter.
Yep.
And then he started investigating. You know the name?
I know exactly the one you're talking about, and I love it. I've watched it a few times. I can't think of the name of it. And yes, and he really it's not the Stuff Project, is it? No.
But it was there's arsenic in it. There was things in it that human beings should not be breathing.
Yes.
And yet we put them in children's clothing.
Mm-hmm.
And I can only imagine. My daughter, 13, is into nails and hair and all that stuff, and her room smells like a freaking nail salon. There's no way that can be good for her.
No way it's good for her. Air purifier, if I were you, I'd get an air purifier, a good one, and I'd put it in her room.
We have those, and the challenge with those, and tell me how you deal with this, that probably reveals a whole other problem. You got to clean those regularly because so much dust gets drawn into them.
Well, here's the deal. It depends on what air purifier you're using. It's not about the bells and whistles on the air purifier. It's about the actual filter. I am a I only promote the Austin air purifier, which happens weirdly enough to be made here in Buffalo, but their filter, which you only have to change once every 5 years, it's really about the filter. And it gets out 99.9% of all of the, pretty much all the fumes that you want to eliminate. And it's a HEPA grade. It's an amazing air filter, and it's 100% made here in Buffalo, New York. No parts are even made in China. That's the problem with so many of these air purifiers, because it's such a big business now, especially with COVID, that these companies overseas, and I've done my research on them, because somebody will come to me, what about this one that says it's made in Arizona? Sure enough, I'll dive into it. Yeah, it's made in Arizona, but all the parts are coming from China.
I'm looking at the one I have in my office, but it's too far away for me to see the brand.
Oh, I'm curious. Air Doctor's a big one. I mean,
well,
there's
hang
a
on.
lot of them.
I'm going to edit this part out, but I'm going to go get the name so we can.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
IntelliPure.
Allen.
Oh, Allen. Yeah, they pay a lot of money to promote the Allens. Yes.
Yeah.
I know the Allen. My girlfriend reached out to me about the Allen, and they advertise in a lot of the nice magazines out there, and they look nice and everything. I'm not sold on them. I can't. I think I did my research for her. I thought they were made in Thailand. I can't remember, but an air purifier. I mean, if you have one, great. Keep using it. If I had children, I would have an air purifier in their room on constantly, just because what you said, your daughter is using all these products, and if you don't, get an air quality monitor and see for yourself what's outgassing in her room.
Yeah.
So it's just, I take it to the whole next level, because I want my air in my house to be as clean as possible. Unfortunately, it doesn't stop there. I mean, if you're bringing in carpeting, if you're bringing in wall-to-wall carpeting, I mean, the glue and whatever they use underneath the carpeting is toxic. Our furniture, some furniture, now they're starting to thankfully not spray all furniture with fire retardants. Another one, that's a whole nother story, why that even was the case. But those are just, I mean, I want to make sure our air is as clean as possible. So these are things that I do. There's some simple things everybody can do. Your dry cleaning, when you pick it up, don't leave it in your car, first of all, because in those bags are chemicals that they use on your clothes. Try to outgas it outside. If you can, hang it up outside instead of bringing it in your house.
For how long?
As much as you possibly can. I make my husband put it in the garage for a few hours. So, how many chemicals are outgassing, I don't know, but that's what they use to clean your clothes. That's dry cleaning. Period.
And what do most of us do? We bring the bag with the baggie on it inside and hang that in the closet.
Yep.
Probably the worst choice.
Yep, exactly. Yep. And in your car. So your fans, any ceiling fans that you have, make sure they're always constantly cleaned. If you have window units, air conditioner windows units, I went to a girlfriend's house. Whenever I go there, I'm always like, at my friend's house, I'm always constantly like looking for these things. Every window unit has a filter that opens up typically, and this little filter comes out, and you clean it. Hers was so disgusting. I stayed in a room, and why I knew that is that the air conditioner was not getting the room cold. So I opened it up, and it was just loaded. It looked like she's like, I haven't cleaned that in years. I'm like, I know, I can tell. So you don't want that air blowing in your house through that dust and whatever else it collects. So take your shoes off when you come in your house. There's so many pesticides and herbicides that people unfortunately are spraying on their lawns that blow all over the place, on the bottom of your shoes, potentially in your house. These are things that you just are so easy, so simple, so cheap, free, that you can do to avoid some of these toxins from coming in your house.
Now, do people like it when you come over, or do they go, oh God, T's going to find everything I'm doing wrong now. I'm going to look like an idiot.
I know. They, you know what? They appreciate it. They really do. I don't say anything unless somebody really says it or asks me. But if it's a really good friend, I will open up my mouth and say something. You know, pots and pans. One of my girlfriend had pots and pans, the ones that, yeah, that, oh gosh, brain.
Teflon.
Teflon, thank you. And they're okay. I would never use them, but if they're not scratched, if they're scratched, there's another way. You are cooking chemicals into your food, into the air in your kitchen. That's what they're made of. But Teflon should not be scratched. And too many people are using these pans that are scratched, that are horrible if you're still using those. So I only use stainless steel and the Lodge cast iron pans. So I know some people, they just can't give up their nonstick pans. And there's other ones, there's ceramic ones on the market right now that are pretty good, but it's just another area that you don't realize when you're cooking, that those fumes are polluting your indoor air. And it's just some areas that you want to pay attention to.
In this film I have hopefully coming out this summer, Built to Last, Buyer Beware, we interviewed a guy down in Naples who is building houses with a polyurethane product. So in a sense, it's hardened plastic. And the brilliance of it is it's waterproof, nothing gets in. It can be built on top of an existing first floor, so you don't have the weight of putting concrete. But the question I asked him is, well, what gases does that emit?
Yeah.
And there's not enough studies to know if it does. You have to worry about construction materials a lot, don't you?
Absolutely. You know, the construction materials, again, so many of them come from overseas. I've seen reports about drywall that has to be recalled because of what it was made with. And there were some chemicals in it that were carcinogens. And you just have to be mindful. You have to pay attention to everything, unfortunately. Some people are like, well, why would it be on the market, if it weren't safe? Well, guess what? There's 80,000 chemicals on the market. The US disallows 11. Do you think they have time to check 80,000 chemicals? Do you think the chemical companies, really know this, care about it? No. A woman puts on her skin, on average, just puts on her skin 168 chemicals a day. Man's more like 120, but those are things that, that are in your home, on your skin. You're breathing them in constantly in the air that is circulating throughout your house. So we as consumers have to be our own advocates, just like we do have to be our own advocates when we own a home or buy a home. You have to look at everything. You can't trust anyone or anything. That's why you get somebody to come in and inspect your home, right? I wish there was a regulation where somebody could come in with an air quality monitor. If I were a home inspector, I'd be using an air quality monitor and showing you, here's what you are going to breathe in this house, the levels of VOCs and the other chemicals that it would monitor. That's a little drastic, I would guess, but that's just who I am. And I just know that I want to live in a house that doesn't have all these chemicals, or you can't get rid of all of them, obviously.
No.
I just bought a pair of rain boots, and I'm going to New Orleans this week for Jazz Fest. And oh my God, I opened up the package and just horrible smell. They're outside, couldn't even bring them in. And things like that, there's so much plastic on the market and made with petroleum and just crappy ingredients. So you just have to pay attention to it.
Yeah, people are going, wow, that tea is about as much fun as George to be around, because I'm exactly the same way. I mean, I don't trust or believe anything anybody's telling me, because I don't think they put the time into doing the work. That if you're not your own best advocate, we're speaking the same language, you have no chance if you don't look out for yourself. And with scented things, with all this stuff that's out there, it's like we can't assume somebody's checked all that stuff. Why do we want to be breathing it?
Yeah, I mean, and the list goes on and on and on, from even children's toys, dog toys. Think about some of the smells that if you buy anything for a child ever, and first of all, see where it came from. It probably came from China. I'm sorry to
No,
harsh.
please bash them like
harsh-
crazy. They deserve it.
So, and do I buy some of these once in a while? And all of a sudden I'm like, what was I thinking? My husband came home with a candle the other day from the body shop, and I'm like, get that out of here. And he's pretty good. He's like, oh, I thought it was, I bought it for somebody. I thought it was scented with whatever it was. Like, no, it's not. It's scented with major chemicals that are making people think, that it's lemon fresh or whatever it was. So, but the government doesn't test all these chemicals.
No.
So they're allowing them to use them in all these products. And unfortunately, it's failing to sufficiently protect our health. And it's apparent. It's apparent in so many illnesses that are out there. So much cancer. I've never remembered so many people getting cancer in my entire life, especially kids. Yeah. What are they using on them? What are they drinking? What are they eating? Everything. It's overwhelming, but you can take it slow and slowly start to detox your home one room at a time. And these are just some tips that I offer people, on your show that they can start with.
No, those are great tips. When we were shooting my film, my crew had this app. Everybody was playing with this app. I think it's pronounced Yucca, Yuka.
Oh, yeah.
And you can scan everything with that, like from perfumes, fragrances, food. And I started scanning the shampoo I was using, the sunscreen I was using, the shaving cream I was using. Everything I was using was incredibly toxic. So this could be my last show. I mean, this stuff was horrible. And so I've now replaced all of it. Maybe I'm too old to have it make a difference. I hope it makes a difference. I scan food, things my kids eat. I'm giving you Cheerios for breakfast. That gets a 6 out of 100. The shaving cream I was using got a 0 out of 100. So everybody at the least could download that app. And I've now got my whole family into doing it. And I tell anybody that knows, just because that's a great way to get a head start on replacing stuff is crap.
Yep, absolutely. It's pretty amazing when you start to see what you're using, and we will never know the cumulative effect either. You did say, did it help? Yes, it does help. It does eventually come out of your system. But whatever you can do is going to help, like you did. That's a huge first step in the right direction, George. So, and it opens up your eyes to looking at labels. Reading those ingredients. Don't look at the front of a label ever. Turn it around. They want you to believe that it's healthy. They'll put an aloe plant on the front, or if they say made with essential oils, it only needs to have 2% essential oils for them to say that. So that's another code word out there for greenwashing. So you just have to pay attention to all these different products that you're using on your bodies and in your home.
And you want to be careful when they don't list everything. There's a store chain in Texas, HEB, great market. Everybody loves them. And they had this chicken, rotisserie chicken, and it had like 45, 50 ingredients in it. And I was told it should have 2 ingredients, chicken and maybe salt.
Yeah.
And that's it. So I went to the manager and I said, why are you doing all this, putting all this crap in your chicken? It's not necessary. About a month later, I went back and there was chicken, and then it said other ingredients. Everything else was still in it. They just wrote the label differently and didn't list them.
Yeah.
They didn't take out the 50 things you shouldn't be eating. So I don't even try. If I see other ingredients, I'm out. I'm not getting that.
Other ingredients, another code word to run from, made with natural ingredients.
Yeah.
And if you're eating something made with natural flavors, again, don't buy it. It's just their way of hiding what's in there, but making you think that it's made with natural ingredients. So cleaning supplies, laundry detergent made with natural ingredients. It could be a drop of lemon essential oils, and the other 30 ingredients are horrible for you. So it's a wild world out there, I must say.
Yeah, it is. Do you ever feel like you're fighting a losing battle? I mean,
No.
I know you're making a difference. You can make a difference one person at a time, getting your message out there. But it seems like the crap still keeps coming out. People keep trying to shove this stuff on us.
Yeah, it is. And, they try to go like with BPA, which is a big thing now. I just was reading an article in Time magazine. And he had his urine sampled, which you can do. That's another thing you can do too, by the way, which I love doing. I did it too. And it'll tell you some of the chemicals inside your body. And he had excessive amounts of plastic in his body that unfortunately we all do. But you can limit that. But BPA is something that he found, and how it was getting into his body. And it's through a lot of these products. I found BPA in me, and it was in, I hate to tell everybody this, but it was our coffee maker that we were using, because it's made with plastic. So a simple coffee, we use stainless steel French press. So the inside of a coffee maker is all plastic. Unfortunately, those K-cups are horrible for you. You're boiling plastic and drinking BPA. So what they do now is BPA free, but unfortunately, the chemical companies they're ahead of us. They then make the BPA BPAS. It's pretty much the same chemical, but in a different format, and they're using that instead. This is how crazy it is out there with the chemical companies that really are enormous, and they're in Washington lobbying, and it's hard for us. Now, are we making a difference? Yes. There's so many of people out there like myself that are really making a difference. And I feel since COVID too, and since for social media purposes and podcasts, we are out there and we are making a difference, and you are too. So, every little bit helps. And there have been some new legal laws that have come on to they've been passed, and actually more are on the docket regarding all of this. So that is a huge difference. Monsanto is being sued by 165,000 people for the glyphosate that they're putting in their Roundup. Those things are happening. Yes, they're a multi-trillion-dollar firm that's fighting back, but people are becoming aware that you need to use try to stop using as many chemicals as possible, whether it's in your home, on your property, spraying your lawns, the paint that you use, the carpeting that you buy, that new carpeting smell. That's not new carpeting smell, by the way. That's all chemicals that you're smelling that people think is new carpeting. But these are things that you just pay attention to. And we're so lucky that we have our scent, that we can smell some of these things. Unfortunately, a lot of people are almost addicted to some of those smells. It takes you to change some of your habits, and you might not even know that you weren't feeling well until you start eliminating these chemicals. And then you wake up in the morning and your head's not stuffy, or you don't have a sore throat, and your eyes don't feel itchy, and you don't have a headache from wearing chemicals and breathing chemicals in your house all day. Those are some of the areas that I see very regularly helping people detox their home. And they start realizing they thought that they had allergies, or it was a pollen, and it really wasn't. It was really the chemicals they're using in their house.
You ever wonder how these people sleep at night that run these
Always.
companies? And I think, well, they
Yeah.
probably have so many chemicals in their body, they just pass out at night. But
Yeah.
I can't imagine how people do that. And the lobbying that they do. So we want the laws to change, but these people spread so much money around Washington, and then the state legislatures buying these politicians off. They're never going to vote all this stuff out or make it illegal or ban it, because they're making too much money off of it.
They are, but I start seeing politicians, kids getting sick, and they're starting to realize there is a major problem. Now, we just had a law passed for our water in the United States. I've known this for years. I would never drink tap water. It is so polluted, and the chemicals that are in our tap water, I have a reverse osmosis. That's the only water that I will drink. And if I'm traveling, I'll buy something, of course. But there's a law that now I think 2026, I think it is, water filtration plant has to get these chemicals. They're specifically these PFAS chemicals, which unfortunately are everywhere. And so they all realize we're all drinking the same water, whatever side you are on in Washington, it doesn't matter. And, there's no hiding from all of this. It's hard, but they're starting to open their eyes. I've sat on a lot of legislative sessions here in New York State, and that they do remotely, that I promote and push to try to get some of these laws changed. And we've made movements, and there's been a few that we've gotten past. We're still fighting for some more, and there'll be more down the road. But it's good to see them starting to open up their eyes to all of these products. They have kids, they have girls, they have little girls putting on this lotion that has all these toxic ingredients on it, and hairspray, and you name it. So it's getting people to just open their eyes a little bit, read the labels that you're using, because consumers are going to be the ones to really change the way things are made and sold to us, because it's all about the money.
What do you think of those water plants that are now recycling sewage and turning that back into drinking water? I saw a story about that on the news. I was going, there's no way this could really be real. It's a water treatment plant that cleans and purifies the water and then puts it out there for drinking. I'm not sure exactly where it is. My guess would be California, but I'm not sure.
I'd have to see that. Now, we all drink water from, it goes down the toilet. It's going to our water treatment plants. Pharmaceuticals are flushed down the toilets. And I will give you a tip. Look up for Tampa. Look up, anybody's listening, look up EWG water. That's all you have to plug in. It's Environmental Working Group. It's a great organization that has been around for decades. I know them very well. I study them very well. That's like the first organization besides Silent Spring that really dove into this whole industry of pollutants and chemicals in our products. But they have a scientist on their team that analyze all the water reports that come from all these cities. I tried to look at Buffalo's, and it's like, a different language. So they broke it down, and it'll show you the chemicals that are in your drinking water. And it'll show you the top 10 or 12 or whatever. There's so many more, but it'll show you the levels of that chemical. And most of them are anywhere from like 50 to 300 times what they should be in our drinking water. And most of them are potential carcinogens, which is horrific. So
I have to stop taking the tap water in a restaurant when they say, would you like bottled or tap water? I mean, it just sounds like you always think, I don't want to spend another $5 on a glass of water here.
I know. Bring your own. That's what I do. I bring my own takeout container too, by the way. You don't ever want to put your food in plastic.
Wow. Fiji water gets 100 out of 100 on that app that I was telling you about.
Good. Yeah, Fiji's good. My girlfriend.
But it's in a plastic bottle.
It is, but if you're traveling and that's all you can do it. The Dasanis and all those other ones that Pepsi sells, it's tap water.
Yeah. But if it says natural spring water, does it have to be natural spring water at least?
I don't know that regulation so well, but I question that. I question the word natural at all. They could
you already did with other stuff, so it can't be different for water.
Yeah, exactly. So you just have to be mindful. And I drink a ton of water. I'm a big water person, and I want it to be as clean as possible.
Yeah, and does that thought process change when you're in foreign countries? Like when we go to Europe, everybody says, "Oh, the water's great over there. People could drink water right out of a spigot on the side of the road there, and it's okay."
I was just in London, and I don't trust anything. I didn't do my, research about it, but I don't trust it. Our water is unfortunately so polluted. I mean, London could reverse osmosis all of their water and it might be okay. Naples, Florida, by the way, if I have that correct, I think it's Naples or Fort Myers, somewhere down there. That community, it's Naples, now that I think about it, they do reverse osmosis for their water. That's what the entire country needs to be doing for every city. It's expensive. It's very expensive. India does it. India has horrible water. They reverse osmosis. You can't drink over there unless you drink the reverse osmosis water. So our water is unfortunately, it's loaded with everything that's pushing into our waterways and our oceans and our lakes and our streams, coming off of all these different pesticide and herbicide sprayed lands and flushing the toilets with all this other crap. So, I mean, even putting lotion on and shampoo, it's going down the drain. It's going into our drinking water, all those chemicals. So it's just being mindful of everything you're putting in your body, on your body, and bringing into your home.
And I think that's really a losing argument when we say that it's too expensive to do it, because the cost of not doing it seems to be much higher. Treating a community of
Yes.
people with cancer has to cost a lot more than slapping some filters on there and
Yes.
trying to avoid them getting cancer.
Exactly. And I have friends that are very well off, and I try to convince them to get a $600 reverse osmosis put into your house. This is a flight that you could take to a city. It's $600. I know not everybody has $600.
Sure.
It's hard. And there are some, decent small countertop plate units to use for your water. But it's really, just like you said, you really want to pay attention to everything that you're using. Spend it on your body, spend it on your home. You want it to be as safe and as clean as possible. It's just, and as you said, you don't want to get sick. It's a lot more expensive to get sick.
Oh, absolutely. So let's, I kept you longer than I said I was going to.
Okay.
If you had to give somebody a takeaway of, okay, here's the number one thing, and I know we kind of touched on this, but just to put a bow on it, what's the first thing I can do to just start making my house healthier? I want to start working on the air.
So what I would do is take a box with a bag, because I want you to tie it. Take all your cleaning supplies. It includes your laundry detergent. Put it in a box with a plastic bag. Get it out of your house. Go and get a fragrance-free laundry detergent, fragrance-free all-purpose cleaner. I have one that I make and sell, mind you. And Tees Organics, little plug there. Sorry, George.
No, go for it.
Yeah, it's an all-purpose cleaner. That's all I use. I was brought up on, in the 60s, my mother had us cleaning with vinegar, water, and baking soda. I still do this day. And so get rid of it. Don't get rid of it. Don't throw it away. Put it in your garage. Get it somewhere. Try for 2 months and see how you feel. I've never had anybody come back and say, I can't live without those. I have everybody come back and say, I can't believe I was living with those and sleeping in those and using those in my home. And everybody, I mean, I love it so much when people will call me and thank me and tell me how they feel better. And I was at a friend's house, and oh my God, I couldn't even spend the night. I had to leave because she uses horrible ingredients. So you start realizing what this all could potentially be doing to your body, to your mind, your thinking process, your sleep at night. Your body has to detox through the night. And if you're on toxic load, you might not even be sleeping well at night. You might be waking up a lot because your body could be telling you, like, I can't work this hard to get these toxic chemicals out of your body. So these are all things that you could see those changes. I'm never going to guarantee it with anybody, but this is definitely areas that have helped a lot of people.
Wow, that's great advice. T, thank you so much for sharing that. All your contact information and ways people can reach you, I'll put in the show notes.
Sure.
I may have to start ordering some of your products just because I'm feeling a little toxic right now. I got to be honest with you.
No, don't feel it. You know what? It's good if you start thinking that way, you will start reading labels on everything, and you'll start, as you're helping other people too, and getting your kids to read labels. And I think I try to have fun with it. I know it can be a little depressing because it's overwhelming, but you take your time. Go slow. Don't throw everything out, even though I love doing that for people. Don't throw anything. So if you really want to, I'll help you with that. But, and it's just being more aware and reading.
Yeah, come by next time you're in Tampa. You'll have a field day at this house, just in my daughter's room.
Love doing that. I would love to. I'll be there in January.
Okay. Hey, T, thank you so much. I appreciate your time today.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
I know a lot of you have stories about your experiences as a home buyer or renter, and I'd love to hear about them. Fill out the contact form in the show notes, and let's get you scheduled to be a guest on an upcoming podcast. By sharing your stories, you can help other people avoid making the same mistakes that you made. Thanks for listening today. I'll see you next time.